everyone, it's Gina from orchidandopal.com, and today we're going to be making this beaded floral component bracelet together. We'll be making the blue one today, and this is one of those projects that's very versatile. You can take each of these beaded components and turn them into something else, such as a single pair of earrings, a ring, a necklace, you name it. But in this design, I like to link these together to turn them into an open ring bracelet, which I think is especially nice in warmer weather. I will leave the full list of materials as well as links to exactly what you'll need to make one of these bracelets right down below the video. But as a quick rundown, you'll be using two different colors of 15-0 seed beads, some 2mm beads, whether they be rounds, drucks, pearls, fire polish, any of those will work. You'll also want some 8 or 10mm closed linking rings, your jump rings and a clasp, and of course your scissors and jewelry pliers. Today I'll be using a size 11 beading needle. You'll want to either use a size 11 or 12 since we are using some little tiny 15-0 seed beads today. And each one of these little beaded flowers will take approximately 2 feet of thread, but just string on as much thread as you're comfortable working with, and you can always add on more to make other components. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to make the two different types of floral components that you see here below, and we'll be making 3 of each and putting those all together, 6 in total, to make an approximately 7-inch bracelet with the clasp and findings. If you'd like to make your bracelet larger or smaller, just adjust the number of beaded components or the number or size of the linking rings or jump rings that you use. So when you're ready, go ahead and gather up your materials and thread your needle, and we will jump into this tutorial. All right, we're gonna make the first flower. They're both gonna be just slightly different. And to start out, we wanna pick up a 2mm, 15-0, 2mm, a 15-0, and repeat this until you have 5 of each on your needle. All right, and once you have that sequence on your needle, you can pull these beads down, leaving about a 5 or so inch tail thread, something you can weave back in later. And you want to take your needle and you want to sew back through all of these beads once again in the same direction. And that's going to start to form a loop, but we need to continue on through the next bead to really form a loop, and we want to be coming out of 15-0. So I'm going to come out of the next 15-0 that I get to after we form these into a loop, just like that. And then what you want to do is you want to pick up a 2mm. I'm going to pick up my other color 15-0 and a 2mm. And I'm going to sew back through the 15-0 that I'm currently coming out of in the other direction. There we go. So now we have those 3 beads sitting on this outer loop. We want to continue on through the next 2mm and the next 15-0. So we're coming out the next 15-0 and we're going to repeat the same thing. So we're going to pick up a 2mm, a 15-0, and a 2mm, and we can pull those down, and we want to go back through that 15-0 from the opposite side, and you can go ahead and continue on through the next 2mm and the next 15-0 if you're able to get through those. And then you're in position to do that again. So you're just going to repeat this all the way around. So 2mm, 15-0, 2mm, go back through the 15-0. And if you're able, continue through the next 2mm and the next 15-0 and pull. So I'm on the last one. I'm going to continue through the next 2mm that comes after that 15 that we just went through. I'm going to continue on through the next 15-0 as well. And then we want to head up through one of those 2mm and over through a 15-0 that's on the outer peak of one of those sections. So you should have something like this, and right now I'm going to take a needle, put it on my tail thread, and weave the tail thread back in just to get it out of the way. All right, now with your needle coming out one of these 15 O's on the outer edge, you want to pick up 6 more 15 O's, and I'm going to pick up the other color. And then you're going to sew directly through the next 15 O on the outer edge that you get to. And repeat this all the way around. So pick up 6 more 15 O's. And sew through the next 15 O. And then when you get to the very last one, you'll sew through the 15 O plus the next 4 15 O's that you get to. And when you pull this, you can see that it's starting to form this little bit of a cup-like shape, and that's exactly what you want because we want it to start to form around the crystal stone. Before we put the crystal in, we're going to add some more beads. Pick up 2 more of your 15 O's, just going with this blue color, and then locate the next section of 15 O's that you added where you have the 6 and skip the first 2. Go through the middle 2. So pick up 2, go through the middle 2, and then pull and turn a little bit. Do that again, pick up 2, locate your next group of 6, and go through the middle 2. Pull and turn, pick up 2, go through the middle 2 of that next group of 6, pull and turn. I find it helpful to put my thumb in there as I am doing this. Kind of poke those beads out a little bit, going through the middle 2 there, and turn, and pick up 2. And this time you'll go through the middle 2 and step up and go through the 2 that you added in the first part of this step. And pull gently, don't pull too tight yet, because at this point we're ready to put our stone in. So you want to set that inside and kind of center it like that. And I'm going to hold this with my thumb and my forefinger while I pull. And that center group of seed beads, that center ring, is going to start to close up over the top of that stone. Now we want to tighten this up by going through each of those 2 seed beads that we had added, and also the 2 middle seed beads all around this center ring. And you'll want to pull every few beads as you go, making sure this is tightening up over the top of the stone. And then go through a few more beads, just through that center ring that you created, holding that with my thumb and my forefinger again while I pull the thread and tighten that down some more, and turn and go through some more beads. So go around that center ring of seed beads at least once more and get that nice and tight. At this point, you should have something that looks sort of like this. It's like a little star shape. I'm going to continue on down through these 2 seed beads at this peak, right before that middle green one right there next to the needle. And now I'm going to pick up 3 of these green 15 O's. And these are going to go around that one green 15 O that's right there. I'm going to skip over the green 15 O that's in place and go through the blue seed bead that's right next to that. And you can see how that adds those 3 greens over top of that 1 green. And then in between these 2 peaks, I'm going to pick up a 2mm. I'm going to go up the blue seed bead that's right next to that center green one on that peak. And that's going to pop a 2mm in place right there. And then we're ready to pick up 3 more green 15-0s, skipping over that green 15-0 in the center and going down just the 1 blue one next to that. Now we're ready for another 2mm, so I'll pick that up, go up through the 1 blue seed bead, ready to pick up 3 green 15-0s, going down the 1 blue seed bead on the left, turn, picking up a 2mm and repeating this all the way around. Now I'm at the section where I have 1 more 2mm to add in, and something you can do if you'd like to is you can go ahead and just sew in one of your jump rings. So I picked one of those up too. You'll end up having 1 on either side as you connect these. 1 will be on the side with a 2mm, and then the other jump ring will be on the opposite side where you have 3 of those little 15-0s poking out. But if we get one of them on there and sew it right in before finishing up this little flower, that will be one less thing we have to do. And then I'm just going up that last blue seed bead right there, and I'll go through the green ones and start knotting my thread, doing about 3 half-hitch knots that I can hide by going through subsequent beads. So go ahead and do that, and then get to a point where you have made enough little knots and have clipped off your excess thread. Make 3 flowers that are in that same manner, and as you can see I already started to add a little link to that one, but you don't have to do that until the end. Go ahead and make 3 of these flowers. You can back up the video if you need to, and next I'm going to show you how to make the other flower. To make our next flower, I'm going to pick up a 2mm, a 15-0, a 2mm, a 15-0, and again we'll alternate these until we have 5 of each on our needle. And there we go, and just like before, we'll pull these down and then loop back through them, leaving ourselves a little tail that we can weave back in. And we're just going to go through all of these beads once again. Go ahead and pull that, and then we're going to go through the next 2mm and 15-0 just to complete this loop and pull. So we're starting out with our same kind of loop, and then we want to pick up a 2mm, and this time I'm going to pick up my other color 15-0. We pick up 2 of those, and then a 2mm. So this time we have 2 15-0s in between instead of 1. And I'm going to go back through the 15-0 that I was exiting through the opposite side, and through the next 2mm and 15-0, just like we did before. So repeat that all the way around: 2mm, 2 15-0s, and a 2mm. And going back through the 15-0, the 2mm, and the next 15-0. And just like we did before, we're going to go through the 15-0, the 2mm, the next 15-0, and make our way up through the 2mm up here, and then over through, this time the 2/15 before we start our next step. And I am going to weave the tail thread back in just to get that out of the way, and I'll be right back. All right, with the needle coming out through these 2/15, we're gonna pick up a 15-0, a 2mm, and a 15-0. This time I'm using the other color 15-0, and then we're gonna go through the next 2/15 that we get to on that outer section. Now repeat that all the way around. So again, 15-0, 2mm, 15-0, and then go through the next two 15-0s. Then when you get to your last section, you'll go through the two 15-0s like you normally would, as well as the next 15-0, 2mm, and 15-0. Pull this all together. It's starting to make that cup-like shape. And then you're going to pick up three 15-0s in the same color you were just working with, which happens to be a different color than these two, which will be below it. Pull those down. You can see I'm coming out of this green 15-0. I'm going to skip those two blue, then go through the green 15-0, the 2mm, and the next green 15-0. And then over top of those two blue 15-0s again, I'm going to pick up three green 15-0s. Skip over the blue, go through the green 15-0, the 2mm, and the next green 15-0. And we'll repeat again, so three more 15-0s. And then when you get to your last one, you'll also go through the next three 15-0s. And you'll end up with a little something that looks like this. Right now we're ready to put our crystal inside of this little cup shape. So put that in the center. And now I'm going to pick up two of my alternate color 15-0 and head through the next group of three green 15-0s that we added in the previous step. Pull this and turn. Pick up two more 15-0s and go through those three 15-0s you added in the previous step. And as you go, tighten this up, and it will start to close over this crystal. Two more 15-0s and then through these three. And turn. And now you'll want to go around this center ring again at least one more time. Every time you go through a few beads, pull it nice and tight and then go through a few more. Once you're satisfied with how tight that is and you have secured your stone in place, then you can knot and tie off your thread, clip off the excess, and you're ready to begin assembling all of these flowers together. All right, so if you haven't already sewn in your jump rings, you're gonna have one on either side. So one will go on a portion where there is a 2mm, and then the other one's going to go on the opposite section, which is just seed beads. For this, I'm going to put one jump ring around the section with the two blue seed beads. So I have this opened up already. And I just gently went around those. So I'm going to close this up by twisting this. And then before we close this up, we're going to connect this to one of these larger links. So I've already done a bunch of these already. I just have this placed inside of this jump ring, and then I'm going to close this up carefully and tightly. I need to add a jump ring on this side where this 2mm is. So I'm just gonna go right around that one carefully, and I'll go ahead and place this ring right on there, and then twist and close up this jump ring, overlapping it a little bit just so it's a little extra secure. There's a look at the back of the bracelet, and then of course here is a look at the front, all said and done. And that is all there is to it. Once again, you can do each of these components separately and turn them into all different sorts of things, not just a bracelet with the links in between. And here's the other colorway back again, so you can see how the use of colors can really change the overall look of this design. I want to thank you all so much for being here for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to give the video a big thumbs up, and definitely hit that subscribe button while you're here, and that way you'll be notified of when I'm posting new content. If you decide to give this a try, or would like to give this a try, or have anything else you'd like to say, you can leave that in the comments section down below. I'd love to hear about it. As a reminder, I will have a full materials list listed right below the video, so you can be taken to similar products and get to know more specifics on what exactly you'll need to make this bracelet. Well, that's all I have for now. I hope to see you all again real soon. In the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, happy beading.